Tonight we're going to go hunting for frogs. Well, this episode I'm going to head down to the creek, and it wasn't really tonight, it's going to be from a few days ago, but it was good for intro. We headed out and saw some frogs and some frogs' eggs and stuff like that, and also some other wildlife, small wildlife by the creek, which is a little bit filled up with a few puddles. So I was hoping to get down there before the frog activity dropped off, but I didn't. But still saw quite a lot of other things, so stay tuned, and I'll talk to you at the end of the episode. Been some microphones going. There's been some water last week or so come into the creek. The creek's been dry for a lot of this winter, but now it's spring and it's gotten a bit of water. Some frogs have come down, they've started breeding and calling, so there's a number of different types in the creek. I think there's about 4, and you can tell by the type of call they have. Now, it is a bit of a cold night, so I brought me beanie, and I might have to break the hat rule, so I'll have to wear a different hat tonight. Now, just here before I heard a eastern froglet, and it's stopped now because I'm talking. They're quite a timid animal, a frog, really, when they're doing their calling and other stuff they do, so I have to sit down for a minute and wait and be quiet, and it'll start calling again, and then I can get it on the torch and see if we can see it calling. It'll be the male calls. So I'll have this big sack under their chin, and they'll just sit above the water, so we might be able to catch him in that sort of state. So we'll give it a go. Centipede, green one. Yeah, it's a cool animal, centipede, except they will sting you with that stinger at the back on the tail there. Oh, that's down his den now. They get a lot bigger than that. Because it's night time, they're out hunting. So in the daytime you'd never see them on the surface like this. And they eat all sorts of things, just other small bugs. And he's not very happy with me because I'm exposing him to the light, which he doesn't like. Yeah, cool. It's different at night because they don't need the cover. They usually don't use it. There's one. There's a little frog. Beauty. That's what we come out for. I'll try. Let's see. Oh, it's a bit stunned by the light. I'll just wet my hands. You can have some bad stuff on your hands sometimes. Here we go. Right. Whoop. Clever frog. He disappeared pretty quick. Oh, there he is. Oh, he's fast. Got him. Alright. I haven't been catching frogs for a while, so it's always exciting when you do it. That's a little, let's see. That's one of those common froglets, I think. Beautiful little frog. Oh no, that's a young spotted marsh frog. Yeah, spotted marsh frogs are very common around this area of Australia, and they're probably the most common frog actually around here. But it doesn't mean there's not a lot of other types, or not a lot of the what's another common one? The popplebonk. There's millions of those around. So anyway, it's good to see them. That's young, so they get about twice that size, maybe 3 times in weight. And I can tell it hasn't been a frog for very long. It's still got a tiny sort of a stump on its tail. There he goes. I think I've lost him this time. Oh no, there he is. He was probably swimming as a tadpole 2 weeks ago. So that's a very young frog. Well, I'll let it go. Put him back in the water's edge. Yeah. Put him near the water. Okay, off you go, mate. There we go. There he is. There he goes. Yeah. That's good. Oh, look. This is the water I'm letting him go in. It's all these tadpoles. See that? That's a tiny little tadpole. Probably a spotted marsh frog tadpole. And, yeah, they've look like they're probably about a week old. Maybe 10 days. So, yeah, 10 days ago is when we really should have been here. When the frogs were going crazy. It was so loud. But we can still see evidence of them and still enjoy something that they were doing. So we'll keep looking around and see what else we can find. Oh, there's a dead frog. Look at this. Something happened here. I've hardly ever see this. Just a frog that's another spotted marsh frog. And something's killed it. Who knows what it is? That's a bug on it, eating it. But that's a fully grown frog, and I guess everything dies. Might be old age, who knows? Yeah, there's a few, there's a fair bit of pollen around. Oh, here we go. Here's some frog's eggs. So, they are basically this foamy stuff. You get those little dots there. That's the developing tadpole. And not all the eggs make it into the water, and they end up kind of high and dry, and they'll just sort of die if they're above the water's level. But if they're below the level of the water, they'll keep developing and turn into tadpoles. But they hang on to, when they're a tadpole, they hang on to that foam, and they eat that for the first couple of days. And as they get sort of developed and longer and they're getting their tail developed, they'll stay safe and fed inside that foam. And then once they can swim away from it, then they can go look for food somewhere else. It's a good system. and it keeps them protected and sheltered. I can start here. I'm starting to hear another frog now, so we might find another one soon. This spot here, hundreds of tadpoles. They're all about a week and a bit old. A couple of different age groups there. If they survive, because most of the time tadpoles die, really, at the end of the day. Most of them don't make it, and if you wouldn't want them to, there'd be frog plagues permanently. So, really, the most things tadpoles do is provide food for ducks and other sort of water creatures, or creatures that like visiting the water. So, it's a kind of like a thing where they create food for other animals, and just makes a lot more life around. But tadpoles will often die simply because the puddle their parents laid the eggs in dries up. But this time we've got some more rain coming, so I'd say the puddle's going to fill up again, and then they'll get a chance to turn into frogs, and then keep the insects under control. It's one of those interesting little creatures, these. They're a type of a water bug, and they put them in the category of the prehistoric sort of stuff, but let's just proving that it's wrong, the fact that they're alive now. Anyway, I think they're called a horseshoe beetle or something. Something like that. It's quite a ugly looking thing. There's a little tail on there. I don't know if it stings, but it looks like it could. I've never been game enough to really pick them up and find out, but they flick it around as if it might sting you. I'm not going to experiment too much to find out. Well, here's a log that's washed up. I'll just turn her over. There might be something nice under it. No, nothing. Oh, here we go. Here's a redback. Now, redback is Australia's black widow. They're an almost identical spider to the black widow, except they have a red stripe on their abdomen, which might be a bit hard to see. I'll just disturb her a bit. We might get a good look at it. So, yeah, you might be able to see that. Red stripe, or it's actually like a deep orange on this one. Very pretty looking spider, but they can deliver a very nasty bite. I know a bloke who a few years ago he got bitten, and he was crook for 2 weeks, and he was sweating, and he was quite sick. And they can kill babies. If a baby got bitten by a redback, it is quite serious. So unfortunately, redback spiders have a tendency to hang around playground equipment. They love the plastic and the little places they can hide underneath it. So they're very dangerous. And if I see them anywhere near children's stuff and that, I always squash them. those actually little white things next to her, let's have a look back down here, that's her egg sacs. So the inside there is hundreds of little eggs that she's guarding, and they'll hatch out. And I've just noticed too that next to her there's another type of wolf spider. Now it's got nothing to do with what she's doing, it's just looking around for a different sort of a meal. What else we got here? What's that? Oh, it's a little snail. That snail would have been active a few days ago when the creek was running a little bit just here. They're fluke snails. And they're called fluke snails because they have within them, well, they're a host to what becomes the liver fluke in sheep, and I'm guessing other ruminants. So a little parasite gets inside them for a while, then these kind of accidentally lay it on the grass, I suppose, and then the animals eat that grass and they get the liver fluke and then they can die from it. So that's why they're called a liver fluke or a fluke snail. Not that they are the fluke, but yeah, it's about as big as they get. Now this little lagoon here, I've been here before on the channel because last time I was here there was a heap of water in here and I was trying to catch, I think I ended up catching minnows out of here, and I was using this log to get out onto the water to reach in and scoop up the fish. And we've had a rain and there's been no water run into here because this is sort of just off the side of the creek. So I thought it was interesting, there's not even a bit of mud, it's fully dry. But we've still got this log here. So everything that needs a bit of cover in here, when it goes dry, ends up under this log. So I thought this could be a very good thing to look under. What have we got? I've got a reasonable sized green ant's nest. There's a funny looking beetle thing. What's that? Some sort of assassin beetle, I think. And you see the beetle look like that with a bit of yellow or orange around and black around it. Don't ever pick them up. I guarantee that thing can bite you, and it'll be a real hot sort of poison. I know these things from experience. Well, thanks for watching once again. Hit like and subscribe if you haven't already. And it's going to be an interesting couple of days ahead because we've got a lot of rain forecast. There's, I don't know, it's going to be at least an inch of rain or 25 mil. And I'm hoping that we're going to get some dams with some water at least in the bottom of them, and that's going to spark up a whole sort of ecosystem, and I'm going to document the whole thing. So from when the water fills up to you know, when things really get going in the wildlife department. So I haven't been able to capture that the whole time I've had the channel going. So I'm looking forward to this happening as long as this rain event happens. It's happening sort of right along the southeast of Australia, so stay tuned. I hope to bring that episode out soon. I haven't even made it yet. That's the start of the system there. So it hasn't even started to rain. It's supposed to rain tonight. So hopefully I'll see you in that episode on the next episode.